The Los Angeles heat hit hard that Monday morning. It was 9 o'clock sharp when Sofia Martinez, wearing her navy blue coveralls with her backpack slung over one shoulder, walked through the metal gates of red lightning racing for the first time. Her heart was pounding like a V12 revving on the track. She knew she was entering territory dominated by men, where a woman with tools was seen more as a curiosity than as a colleague. The shop was legendary, a name whispered with reverence in the world of luxury and racing cars. This was where they repaired, restored, and fine-tuned the most coveted machines on the planet: Ferrari, Lamborghini, Maserati, engineering masterpieces that cost more than a penthouse in Beverly Hills. Sofia had dreamed about this place since her college days, when she'd spent nights watching restoration tutorials and reading technical manuals that others couldn't even understand. But she didn't have connections or references, just her talent, her intuition, and a confidence disguised as nerves. "Can I help you with something?" asked one of the mechanics when he saw her walk through the gate. He was a stocky guy, with grease-covered arms and a mocking smile. "I'm looking for the shop foreman. I'm here about a job opportunity. I brought my resume," she said, her voice steady. "You? A mechanic?" He let out a laugh. "This is going to be good." The laughter spread quickly. A couple more mechanics joined the chorus, muttering under their breath phrases she chose to ignore. She kept moving forward until she found a small office with a frosted glass door. She knocked twice. "Come in," answered a deep voice from inside. The shop foreman, Robert Stone, was a serious man with thick eyebrows and a sharp gaze, former race car driver and one of Red Lightning's founders. He barely looked up. "What can I do for you?" "My name is Sofia Martinez. I'm a mechanical engineer, recent graduate from MIT. I'd like to work here." Stone looked at her but said nothing. He just narrowed his eyes. That's when, on the other side of the shop, an argument broke out between two mechanics. "It makes no sense. I checked the entire ignition system," one was shouting. "The diagnostic computer isn't showing anything," the other responded, frustrated. Stone stood up, frowning. "What's going on now?" "It's Mr. Beaumont's Ferrari 488 GTB, said Tommy, a mechanic with a deep voice and dominant attitude. "It's been 3 days without starting. 10 of us have looked at it, and nothing. No sign of life." Sofia raised her hand, almost on instinct. "Can I take a look at it?" The silence that followed was uncomfortable. Everyone turned to stare at her as if she'd said something ridiculous. "You?" Tommy said with a sarcastic half-smile. "It's not a Honda Civic. It's a Ferrari. I doubt you've even seen one up close." "I just want to try," she replied, holding back her anger. Stone watched her. Something about her determination caught his attention. He nodded with a slight movement of his head. "You've got 15 minutes. If you screw it up, you're out." Sofia walked toward the car. It was a blood-red 488 GTB, pristine bodywork, and hood open like an exposed wound. Around it, disconnected cables, laptops with diagnostic software, and confused faces. She took a deep breath, pulled a small flashlight and gloves from her backpack. She crouched down, in silence. While the other mechanics watched from a distance, she checked connections, sensors, electrical lines. She touched things like someone who knows, not someone who's guessing. In less than 10 minutes, she noticed an anomaly, a failure in the main relay of the fuel system, a component they'd already checked, but which was behaving erratically when it heated up. She disconnected it, tested it with a multimeter she pulled from her backpack, and confirmed her suspicion. She replaced it with a spare she found in the parts bank, reset the system from the diagnostic port, and closed the hood. "Done," she said, without fanfare. "Done what?" Tommy said mockingly. She sat in the driver's seat, turned the key, and pressed the brake. The Ferrari roared with a sound that made the floor tremble. The noise echoed throughout the entire shop. Perfect. Pure. Unwavering. Everyone's eyes went wide as if they'd just witnessed a miracle. One of the mechanics dropped a wrench. Tommy pressed his lips together. Stone crossed his arms. Sofia got out of the car without saying a word, handed the key to one of the assistants, and looked back at the shop foreman. "Thanks for letting me try," she said simply. Stone looked at her silently for a few seconds. Then he smiled for the first time. "Do you have plans for today?" "No, sir." Well, now you do. Welcome to Red Lightning Racing. Pick up your uniform from Linda in administration. The tension transformed into an uncomfortable silence. Some mechanics avoided looking at her. Others watched her with a mixture of respect and annoyance. Tommy, in particular, looked at her with an expression that was neither hatred nor admiration. It was something worse. A threat. Sofia Martinez walked toward the locker area with her back straight, but inside, her heart was still racing. She knew that this small victory was just the beginning. Earning a place was difficult. Keeping it in a world like this would be even harder. But there was something about that Ferrari's roar, something about the way the engine responded to her touch, that reminded her why she was there. Because for her, cars weren't just machines. They were sleeping creatures, waiting for someone who knew how to wake them up. And she was born for that. Sofia's first month at Red Lightning Racing wasn't glorious. It was exhausting. After making the Ferrari 488 GTB roar, anyone would have thought she'd earned immediate respect. But no, what she earned was something else. Uncomfortable stares, whispered comments, and absurdly basic tasks like cleaning tools, checking insignificant alignments, or inspecting cars from clients without any relevant history. All while her co-workers repaired multi-million-dollar machines. Every morning she walked through those metal gates with her head held high, even though her stomach burned with contained rage inside. Days started at 8:30 and ended past 7 at night, but she stayed longer. Nobody asked her to. She did it because she knew that in this world being good wasn't enough. She had to be brilliant, perfect, unquestionable. The jokes never stopped. One Tuesday, when she opened her locker, she found a doll dressed in coveralls with a sign hanging from its neck. Sofia, the toy mechanic. Another day, one of the new guys greeted her with, "Can you make me a little coffee while the men work?" Right in front of everyone. Most of them laughed. She didn't. She didn't respond with words. She responded with precision. While the others took their 30-minute breaks, she disassembled high-pressure injection systems just to better understand their common failures. While Tommy gave orders with his commanding voice, she memorized the thermal behavior of every model she worked on. She took notes. She studied. She observed. It didn't take long to catch Robert Stone's attention. One afternoon, he walked by her station and watched as she adjusted the timing on a Ferrari Portofino without relying on the factory software. "How did you know the problem was in the cam position sensor?" he asked. The engine had a slight vibration at idle, but it wasn't showing up on the computer. I measured it with a portable oscilloscope. I saw an erratic signal. Stone nodded without saying more. He didn't usually give praise, but his look said enough. Tommy, on the other hand, couldn't stand seeing her shine. Every small achievement of hers was a reflection that left him in shadows. He'd worked at Red Lightning for over 15 years. He was the voice of experience, the alpha male of the shop. And now, this 24-year-old girl was stealing the boss's attention, the clients, and the new staff's. The trigger came during a technical meeting on a Thursday morning. Robert had gathered the team to review the week's projects. Sofia presented a proposal for optimization in the cooling system of the Ferrari 812 superfast models they were restoring. She explained how to redistribute the internal coolant circulation to improve efficiency without changing the original design. "That sounds nice on paper," Tommy interrupted, arms crossed. "But we're not in a college classroom here. We fix real cars, not theories." The room went silent. Sofia felt rage rising in her throat, but she took a deep breath. "Would you like to prove it?" she said, looking straight at him. Tommy raised an eyebrow, amused. "How?" "There are 2 Ferrari 812s in the shop with different problems, one with power loss from overheating and another with intermittent failures in the active exhaust system. I propose you take one and I'll take the other. Whoever delivers the car first, with a complete technical report validated by track testing, proves which method works better." There were murmurs. Some mechanics exchanged uncomfortable looks. Stone said nothing, but he didn't stop it either. "Are you sure?" Tommy asked. "More than ever." The challenge was set. Both started the next day, each with their assigned Ferrari. Tommy chose the model with the exhaust problem, thinking it was simpler. Sophia took the more complicated one, the one with intermittent power losses. For 3 days, they worked without rest. Sophia redesigned the cooling system from scratch, adapting a dual bypass circuit without altering the internal geometry of the compartment. She applied solutions she'd learned during her late-night study sessions, combined with dyno testing. On the 4th day, the Ferrari roared like new. Perfect. Not a single degree outside ideal temperature after 20 minutes of continuous use. Tommy finished his project a few hours later. His repair worked, but didn't fully resolve the original problem. The exhaust system kept failing with certain RPM combinations. Robert sent both cars to be tested with 2 of the shop's drivers. The result was decisive. The Ferrari that Sophia had repaired not only worked better, but showed performance improvements over the original standard. Her technical report included detailed diagrams, simulations, raw data, and long-term maintenance suggestions. Tommy said nothing when the results were shared in front of the entire team. He just looked down. Some mechanics, even the most skeptical ones, congratulated her. Stone called her into his office. "I'm going to tell you something, Martinez. We don't give respect away here. It's earned, and you've already earned it. Keep it up." Sophia left there with her chest swelling. For the first time in weeks, she felt like something was changing. But it wasn't long before the backlash came. A week later, someone had left her workstation messy, and her personal tools had disappeared. In the hallways, rumors started circulating. That Robert was playing favorites with her, that she was flirting to get parts, or that she was taking credit that didn't belong to her. A client even cancelled an appointment when he found out a woman was going to work on his Ferrari. He said he didn't trust her. The blow wasn't physical, but it was systematic, making her invisible, tarnishing her name, leaving her isolated. But Sophia Martinez already knew the game. She wasn't there to please anyone or to fit in. She was there to win. And that nobody was going to stop. The shop air smelled of motor oil, hot steel, and success. For Sophia Martinez, every morning was a mixture of adrenaline and anticipation. After beating Tommy in front of everyone, her position at Red Lightning Racing was no longer a question mark. Now she had a name. Now clients asked for her. Now the mechanics listened to her. But the real leap came one Friday morning, when a black trailer with gold logos parked in front of the shop. The mechanics stopped what they were doing. Even Stone came out of his office. A uniformed driver got out of the cab, and from the trailer slowly descended a jewel, a red Ferrari F40 limited edition. The car gleamed under the sun as if it knew it was a legend. "Is that?" someone murmured. "Yes," Robert said. "It's Richard Montgomery's." Richard Montgomery, the most recognized American driver of the 90s, endurance racing champion, former Formula 3 competitor, living legend. A guy who didn't trust anyone, much less with his cars. Minutes later, Montgomery himself entered the shop. Tall, perfectly combed grey hair, dark sunglasses, and an aura of respect that made everyone fall silent as he passed. He went straight to Stone. "I'm here for what they told me about. I want Miss Martinez to handle my F40. A murmur spread through the shop like a shockwave. Sophia froze for a second, then walked toward them. "It's an honor, Mr. Montgomery. The honor will be if you manage to get it running like new. That car has history and heart." For the next 3 weeks, Sophia worked on the Ferrari with the same delicacy a restoration expert would have in front of a Da Vinci painting. She checked every seal, every valve, every electronic component with surgical obsession. The intake system needed microscopic adjustments, and the exhaust showed internal corrosion not detected by common scans. When she finished, the F40 didn't just roar like new. It sounded better than many that came from the factory. Richard drove it on a closed track and came back with a smile from ear to ear. "I've rarely felt this beast like this. You didn't just save the car, you gave me back my youth," he told her. The news spread like gasoline on fire. Specialized blogs started talking about the American mechanic conquering the elite. Her professional social media accounts exploded. Invitations to events, interview requests, congratulations from engineers she'd never met. And with fame came the attention of Klaus Werner. Klaus was an eccentric Swiss millionaire, collector of rare cars, owner of vineyards and homes on 4 continents. He lived part of the year in Arizona. His team contacted Robert directly. He wanted Sophia to restore a Ferrari 250 GTO, one of the most valuable cars in the world. Estimated value, 48 million euros. The car arrived under strict security measures. Red Lightning Racing was transformed. Security cameras, restricted access, special insurance to cover any mishap. Sophia was pulled from all her other projects. Her only task, bring the GTO back to life. Every night she reviewed original diagrams scanned from Italian documents from the 60s. She became obsessed with the exact sound the engine should produce, with the original texture of the seats, with the specific metallic paint pattern that edition had. But while she worked, she also learned what was being said online. Some articles called her a symbol of the new engineering, but many others weren't so generous. They probably gave it to her because now it's trendy to hire women. It's just a marketing campaign, wait till she makes her first mistake. Another one who got here through quotas, not talent. At first she tried to ignore them, but there were so many and they were so personal that they started affecting her. She slept little. She dreamed about failures. She doubted every decision. And then it happened. A regular client had brought in a classic Alfa Romeo Spider. The car had oil pressure problems. Sophia checked it in record time. Diagnosis, repair, tests, delivery, everything seemed perfect. 3 days later, the client posted a furious review on an automotive forum. The car had developed a serious leak on the highway, causing engine damage. Photos showed oil spilled on the asphalt and a tow truck hauling it away. The client mentioned her name directly. A total disappointment. I never imagined someone so praised could fail at something so basic. The blow was brutal. The forums exploded. Some called for her removal from Red Lightning Racing. Others questioned whether everything she'd accomplished wasn't just smoke and mirrors. Sophia locked herself in the technical room for hours, reviewing her diagnosis, her tests, her notes, and then she found it. A pressure valve that had been replaced with a similar specification part, but not identical. The error wasn't negligent, but it was hers. She hadn't verified the exact serial code. For hours, she said nothing. She just thought about quitting. It was Robert who entered the room and found her alone with dirty coveralls and swollen eyes. "Are you going to let this define you?" he asked without softness. "You fell. It happens, to everyone. But you've got two paths. Give up or show what you're made of." Sophia looked up and chose. She called the client back. She apologized. She asked him to bring the car again and promised to fix it at no cost, with original parts certified by the manufacturer. She restored it again. More than that, she improved the lubrication system and replaced the heat-sensitive components. The client wasn't just satisfied. He posted a new review. "Everyone makes mistakes, but what distinguishes true professionals is how they face them. Sophia didn't just correct the failure, she gave me back my confidence. Today my Alfa Romeo runs better than ever. My absolute respect." The automotive community went silent. And then something unexpected happened. An article in a specialized Italian magazine highlighted her restoration of the 250 GTO as a technical masterpiece with historical sensitivity. Klaus Werner himself sent a signed letter to Red Lightning Racing. "I've had mechanics in 5 countries, but none treated a car like a work of art. Sophia Martinez is, without a doubt, the best investment I've made in my automotive life." The mistake didn't destroy her. It strengthened her. And now her name was no longer a promise. It was legend. Dawn in Los Angeles painted the sky in orange tones when Sophia Martinez walked through the gates of Red Lightning Racing. This time not with nerves squeezing her chest or mocking looks following her. This time the greetings were sincere, the looks respectful. Some mechanics even approached to ask her opinion before making technical decisions. 2 years had passed since that day when she made the Ferrari 488 GTB roar for the first time. Now with shorter hair, more weathered hands, and a confidence that could be felt in her mere presence, Sophia received news that would mark a new beginning. Robert Stone was retiring from the shop, and she would be the one to take his place as head of the restoration department. The meeting was brief. Robert, with his dry tone but proud voice, presented her to the entire team. She wasn't the strongest or the loudest, but she was the one who never gave up. And that here is worth more than any muscle. Sofia Martinez is now your leader. Listen to her. Learn from her. The applause felt sincere. Even Tommy from the second row nodded silently. Under her leadership, the shop changed. Routines were adjusted, technical protocols were updated, and for the first time in the shop's history, 2 new female mechanics were integrated. Ashley and Emma, automotive engineering students who had read about Sofia in a specialized magazine and dreamed of following in her footsteps. "I never thought I could be here someday," Ashley confessed on the first day. "You're the reason I dared to study this." Sofia welcomed them the way she would have wanted to be welcomed. She assigned them real tasks, not just filler work. She had them rotate through all the stations, and she listened to them the way she listened to anyone, with respect, without condescension. But her influence no longer stayed within the shop. She was invited to give talks at universities, innovation events, women in industry forums. Her story appeared in articles, short documentaries, and she was even on the cover of an international engineering magazine with the title, "She Also Builds Legends." Despite everything, she remained the same. She got covered in grease, corrected mistakes with patience, and demanded excellence from anyone working on an engine. She never lost her love for what had brought her there, bringing machines back to life. One afternoon, while checking a Dino 246 GT with Emma, her cell phone rang. It was a video call with an international code. When she answered, the screen filled with the face of an elegant man with silver hair and a Ferrari emblem in the background. "Sofia Martinez?" he asked with a European accent. "Yes, sir. At your service." "My name is Sergio Marchetti. I'm Director of Technical Development at Ferrari Maranello. We've followed your trajectory with admiration. We want to invite you to lead a new technical training program here in Italy. It will be focused on diversity, innovation, and excellence. We believe you represent everything this new generation should learn." Sofia was silent for a few seconds. She was trying to process what she'd just heard. Marchetti noticed her expression. "Of course, you'll have time to think about it, but it would be an honor if you accepted." That night, alone in her apartment, she pulled out an old notebook from her drawer. It was the same one she'd brought on her first day to Red Lightning Racing. It had drawings of engines, formulas, loose ideas, and on the first page, a phrase written by hand in black ink. "Engines don't know if they're fixed by a man or a woman. They only feel if you bring them back to life." Her grandfather, also a mechanic, had told her that when she was a child. He was the one who taught her to recognize the sound of an unbalanced piston, who let her take apart a carburetor when she was just 12 years old. The next day, Sofia arrived early at the shop. She walked to the area where historic cars were stored. There it was, covered with a grey tarp, the Ferrari 488 GTB, where it all began. She slowly uncovered it, ran her hand over the hood, and smiled. "It was never just about cars," she whispered. "It was about being heard. And now it's time to open the way for others." Hours later, she signed the acceptance letter. In 30 days, she'd fly to Italy to begin a new chapter. The entire shop applauded her. Ashley cried. Tommy approached, shook her hand firmly, and said with a sincere voice, "You didn't just earn it. You built it with every bolt." While packing her suitcase, Sofia knew she was leaving Red Lightning Racing in good hands. But she also knew the world was bigger. That out there were thousands of girls with talent, waiting for a sign to dare. And now that sign had a name, it had a face, and it was called Sofia Martinez.